Welcome to Your Tall But I'm Standing in Front of You, the podcast where two friends circling the drain of academia examine the cultural detritus of the 20th century. I'm Devin.
I'm Ethan.
How's it going, buddy? Long
Oh,
time.
yeah, long time since we've done one of these. I'm doing great. What a pick me up watching the film Paris, Texas. I'm just on top of the world, Devin. How are you doing?
I just can't think of a film, if you just don't want to think about what's going on in the world right now, a
Yeah.
film about a guy in a red baseball cap wandering a desert wilderness with no particular plan of action. What a way to just kind of like get your mind off things, right? Um,
Absolutely.
but this is a great film.
Yeah.
Uh, a better film than we usually talk about on this podcast, but we were joined by the film critic Jourdain Searles. So before we get the episode started, I just want to plug Jourdain's work, and particularly her Substack, which we'll put in the show notes. But that's judysquirrels.substack.com, and you can find a lot of really interesting writing on film and culture more generally there. And of course, also catch all of her socials that will drop in the show notes as well. And thank you, Jourdain, for joining us on summer vacation.
You're tall, but I'm standing in front of
It's a podcast.
So, as we continue our summer vacation series, Ethan, we are going somewhere new after Wally World, and we're journeying down to
Mm.
Paris, Texas, or not
Yeah.
journeying down to Paris,
Yeah,
Texas.
not
I
exactly, but
suppose.
yeah. Swing and a miss, but yeah, the spiritual successor to National Lampoon's Vacation, Paris,
You know, I
Texas.
I actually think it kind of is,
Hmm.
and we'll get into this. But we're a little out of our usual comfort zone in this episode, Ethan, because we normally do bad and trashy movies,
Hmm.
and this time we're taking on like a great work of like art cinema. And so we're very happy to have some help from someone who's a lot more qualified to talk about that than we are. Jourdain Searles. Uh,
Mhm.
and Jourdain is a writer, a critic, a film program. I'm sorry, a film programmer,
Mhm.
a comedian,
That's
frequent podcaster in various spaces. You've written for so many places I couldn't even begin to name, right? From the New York Times to IndieWire to Vulture, LA Review of
Fangoria
Books, right?
one time.
Hell
Ooh.
yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to overlap. I was just like, I wrote for Fangoria one time, and it's really my crowning achievement.
Fantastic. So Jourdain, you're here to help us talk about Paris, Texas, Wim Wenders. We're only a year since Vacation came out in 1983, right? Presumably winning the Palme d'Or that year, paving the way for this movie, the 1984 Palme d'Or winner. Um,
Uh-huh.
and it's a movie that presents us, I think, Ethan, you texted me last night when you were watching, right? A vision of a time when a white guy could put on a red cap and wander around getting into trouble. And it didn't have to completely ruin every institution in America.
Yeah.
It's very true.
And yeah. And that's really like right off the bat. Harry Dean
Harry,
Stanton, like there he is
Harry
with a
Dean
red
Stanton,
cap.
one of my favorite old white men. Rest in peace. He's been
Hmm.
old since I was born. He's been old forever, and It's great. I appreciate it. It makes me feel young. It's the fact that like he managed to like he looked that old in 1984 and then like basically was working up until like Twin Peaks The Return in 2017. It's very beautiful to me.
Oh man,
It's
he's the best.
yeah, and it's probably really helpful to get an early lock on that like old man presence because then you've got 30 years that you can lean into that role. So that's helpful that he was able to have that. And him opposite Dean Stockwell as well. Um
Yeah, his
Yeah.
brother Dean Stockwell.
It's like these guys, it's like they like, much like the boomers that they are sort of representing in this movie, right? They just bought the house back when it cost like $3,000, and then they're just sitting in that old man property for decades, right? And nobody else can get into the old man game because it's locked down, And then you call your
Yeah, I
dad, you're
mean
like, you can't
you
get a
had
job.
no between Harry Dean Stanton and M. Emmett Walsh, it's kind of just like you can't. They got it. They've got it covered. I d-
but
I do love that. Like a little fun fact is that like when you the age gap in Paris, Texas is obviously something that we're going to talk about. But 2 years
Yeah.
later, Harry Dean Stanton was the dad in Pretty in Pink, and I think about this all the
Oh
time.
man. That would be a crazy double feature.
Oh,
God.
yeah.
It's
It's
like how the
like
last time I watched Twin Peaks, I watched Fire Walk with Me first and then the pilot, and it really casts over Leland in the first episode. I feel like you would get the same effect with the dad in Pretty in Pink from this juxtaposition. So,
yeah.
Ethan, I'm assuming you hadn't seen this before, right?
Why are you assuming that, Devin? You are correct. Yeah, no, I had not. I had not seen this.
So, did you
Oh
go in with
wow, a
any
first
like
time.
associations or
I knew that it was a very well respected film going into it. I knew that it had Harry Dean Stanton and Dean Stockwell. That was pretty much all I had coming into this watch.
Oh, there
what?
must have been some surprises for you then.
Indeed, yeah, for sure.
Ugh. This is like how I feel when Ethan makes me watch like a random episode of Star Trek
Yeah.
with like four people with years of storylines I can't follow. What about you,
Mm.
Jourdain? I'm assuming you'd seen this one before.
This is my second time watching it. This is actually one of my boyfriend's favorite movies, and since this is going to be coming out after Christmas, I can say that I got him one of the two criterions I got him for Christmas was Paris, Texas.
Oh, hell yeah.
The other one is Sorcerer.
Oh man,
So,
another great one. I was actually just watching All That Jazz before this, so I have Roy Schneider
mm,
on the brain. Um,
mm,
but
uh, beautiful man, so sexy.
but yeah, I this was my like second or third time seeing this. Really though, I watched like the 4K restoration for this time, so it was my first time seeing that, and it was like,
Mm.
man, I was really locking into the visuals this time. Like when you know a movie well and you can kind of just watch it a little more freely. You don't need to worry about the plot. Uh, it was fucking great. But I feel like back in like college, I don't even know if this is true, but a lot of people would bring this up as having been Kurt Cobain's favorite movie. Does that sound familiar to anyone else?
Oh, that sounds right. And see, now I
It
wish I could just
tracks.
like consult my boyfriend right now because he loves Kurt Cobain and he's like old, so like he was alive for like the death of Kurt Cobain was like a big
Yeah,
point in
yeah.
his life. It's just he's gonna listen to this and I'm just gonna be roasting him. It's gonna be great.
I feel like
But
people would
no,
always
yeah,
say
no,
Kurt Cobain and Elliott Smith liked this movie. And so like it had a lot of
that
cachet when I was
tracks.
like in my 20s, you know?
That's yeah,
Oh, wow.
it's interesting because like the setting is so different from the Pacific Northwest, right? All of the
Yeah,
backdrop.
yeah.
So,
The second time watching it, I thought so much of Francis Ford Coppola's One from the Heart,
Oh yeah,
which,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I think Natasha Kinski is also in that, but yeah, I think she is, but I don't remember. Have you seen it?
I haven't actually.
not me.
Oh, y'all need to. Oh, well, y'all need to see One from the Heart. It's a very
Okay.
weird movie, but
Yeah, that's been on the list for a while. We just need
Mm.
to come up with now we just need to come up with a mini series that we can shoehorn it into.
Nastasia Kinski
I'm sure that
films.
you can do it.
That's
I
yeah.
believe in you. Well, then you'd have to do cat people too. Paul
Oh hell
Schrader's
yeah.
cat people.
Now you're talking my language. Um, but so Paris, Texas, it's from Wim Wenders. He's a German filmmaker who ends up coming and making a number of films, not just American films, but films like in various places, right? He recently made the Japanese film Perfect Days, right? So even though he's German, he's always kind of been this sort of like vacationing director, if you will, given the content of our miniseries, right?
Great tie-in.
And he, of course, also does Wings of Desire, which is the movie that becomes the City of Angels, the Nick Cage Angels movie, which is what gets us Iris, the Goo Goo Doll song. So he is directly responsible for that.
We
Um,
just did that at karaoke on like just last week, and it was beautiful. A
It
bunch of
is.
us
But
just
what
did Iris.
you need to like have like water spraying on you though too, like within the music video. Like that's to get the full effect for that song. It's like
That's
turn a
true.
hose on.
We'll do that next time. Yeah, I'll bring like a little. I'll
absolutely.
bring like a little spray bottle. Spray my
Fantastic.
friends.
But speaking of wetness, this is a movie that doesn't start wet. This is a movie that starts very dry. Um,
Wow.
Ethan, did you want to take us
Good
through?
job.
Yeah, yeah, that's I can't beat that transition, Devin. I'll give you some of the plot beats here as we're setting things up. I think we mentioned starts right away. Harry Dean Stanton wandering in the desert. That really bright red cap.
And the
You know,
water jug, right? It's so iconic, and the
yeah,
disheveled sandy suit.
yep. And it's at first I thought it was like a matte painting in the background, but I think America just sometimes looks like that, especially when you actually film outside. It's incredible. Um, and so he just sort of wanders into town. I think the sign there in the little all-purpose store is the dust has come to stay. You may stay or pass on through or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, he comes on in. They have like the cut to then there's like suddenly a guy in there. I thought he was like by himself, and then it like cuts. It's like,
Yeah, it
oh no,
does
there's
like
people
it
here.
almost starts kind of post-apocalyptic, right? It's like
Yeah,
you just are seeing this guy wander the desert with a jug of water. He walks into this convenience store, looks like blown out. It's covered in dust. There's that creepy sign about the dust, and you're almost thinking like, am I in some kind of like apocalyptic universe, right? But then you
yeah,
cut and it's someone seeing him like he's eating ice out of the freezer, right? Because he's so dehydrated.
yeah. And then he sort of faints and is woken up to be examined by a doctor.
A
Um,
German
I,
doctor.
a German doctor, which you reminded me of this, Devin, because this is a interesting character for the first bit here. And I think at the same time, they also discover the card that he had on him that had the name Walter Henderson on it, which will be his brother, played by Dean Stockwell. So they've got a name. He's being examined by this German doctor guy. I don't know what y'all's thoughts were on this doctor character.
Yeah, he's obviously like it's like Wim Wenders is directing, right? So it's interesting that there's like kind of this trace of Germany in it, right? And then later Walt's wife is French, right? So there's kind of like a nice sort of like underexplained international presence in this movie that I like. You know, it feels very kind of lived in. But also,
Mm.
like, this doctor is so nefarious, right? Like, he's a con man, right? Because eventually, like, Walt's going to go to retrieve his brother and he's kind of like shaking him down for money, right? And I don't know that maybe this is an overread, but he's always felt like this kind of like nefarious kind of like what's a German doing in the desert, right? In like the post-war decades, you know, kind of like lingering post World War II kind of maleficence that's like worked its way into the American system. But I don't know. What do y'all think?
You see? Sorry. I hadn't even really thought about it because if you watch like a bunch of Inventors stuff, which I haven't even seen that many, I would say like maybe like four Inventors movies. It's always just kind of like that where there's just like different cultures and it's like not explained. He's very much like a filmmaker of the world in that way, where we're gonna put all these people in it. Doesn't really matter who they are.
Yeah, that's and I even like I had some idea that this German guy was also just standing in as like the sheriff in town. I thought there was like a cop car in the background in the one scene when Dean
Mm,
Stockwell's
mm.
character does finally show. So I just thought he was just like essentially, running ham on town and just sort of doing whatever he wanted to do as that character. But yeah.
Do either of you know much about like how the police work in Texas? And I'll explain why I'm asking.
Uh I'm
Because
not an expert
I
on that,
have
Devin, I'm
absolutely
afraid.
no idea.
I've sort of just like from various examples intuited that there seem to be like people in Texas who are just sort of like part-time cops. Because like my like uncle growing up lived in Texas and he was like a like priest or something, or like he was some kind of like religious thing, but then he would also like be a cop on the weekends.
Fucked up.
And
Um,
I never understood it as a kid. I was like, wait, this is like my Richard Scarry understanding of the world is you would either be like a cop or a priest. And you're sort of like synthesizing the two somehow. But like this
right,
makes me wonder if is that just like a thing in Texas that a lot of people just like they like to spend their spare time
man.
driving around with guns as
Well,
opposed to how
that
they spend their normal time.
yeah, really. Because like they even like they've got what they've got Texas Rangers too. It's like they just have to have their own thing.
Yeah, that's
Um,
bullshit, right? Like they just get like a weird little like if there was like a special Pennsylvania unit, that would be so corny, right?
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
it's like Texas is so big, and it's kind of just like I feel like if Texas was maybe like half of its size, it would be less kind of like unwieldy.
Yeah, that's fair. And this is, I mean, this little spot where Harry Dean Stanton's character shows up is certainly off the grid.
Yeah.
Um, but his brother Walter does get the call that his brother, who's been missing for 4 years, has been found, and he goes to pick him up. Um, Way better hat on Dean Stockwell's character, the yellow Stetson hat. I thought it was a great hat. Real substance to that hat is what I the note I left here. Not a cheap ass hat like they make these days. So I had a lot of comments there. Um, but he goes to pick up his brother and gets sort of uh you, held
Shook
up by
down.
yeah he's shook down by this German doctor character, but he who then tells him that his brother is essentially just like left, right? He's like, well, he left this morning wandering off again. um
Yeah.
so he finds him wandering, several miles away from the clinic and picks him up. um they originally are going to fly back to LA where Walter lives, but this it doesn't quite pan out, right?
Yeah.
They have the scene of the plane like pulling off to the side and kicking them off onto the tarmac. um,
Yeah.
they don't do it like that anymore these days.
Also, this is a little past where before where we're at, but
Mhm.
on the way on the plane down, when Dean Stockwell is flying to Texas initially, he it shows him spinning a top on top of his briefcase, like, to pass the time, and it cuts away before the top stops spinning. So it's possible the rest of the movie from this way forward is a dream.
That's a great catch,
Inception.
Devin.
Inception.
That yeah. Well done. Um
This time through, I was very, very cognizant of like how old everyone was. And
mm.
so we've got a younger brother in his late 40s picking up his older brother in his late 50s. And it's just like,
Yeah.
where is my almost 60-year-old brother? Where's he at?
Yeah, it's interesting. You don't see like sibling stories in this age bracket that often. You certainly see stories about like older men, but I feel like you're usually seeing. Obviously, this gets into father son and husband wife and all that as it goes. But I'm thinking of like the straight story comes to mind as well. Speaking of Harry
Yeah.
Dean Stanton, right? But like he's really got the
Mhm.
corner on like elder brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's like I'm the oldest of five. And so I'm used to like putting out fires and having to deal with things and having to spend money that I don't want to spend for my siblings because there are so many of them. What am I supposed to do? But I don't know how I would feel if I was like 48 picking up my 58-year-old brother and I'm driving him. And then he's afraid of being on the plane. And then so that I have to drive him all the way to LA. And also, he won't talk.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I would just be like, well, I don't know if I would have the patience for that. Dean Stockwell,
definitely. And this is
very, very patient
pre-podcast, right? So
man.
you need the road conversation. There's not a lot going on. There might not even be radio signals out in some of these deserts they're driving through, right?
No,
Mm.
it's just he's just so patiently. He's just at some point he's just like, "Are you gonna talk? Are you gonna talk?" And I'm just like, you know, is he gonna talk?
Yeah.
You think he was just like hiding in Mexico, just like not talking to anyone?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. But, as he continues to not talk, Dean Stockwell's like, well, you know what? How about I go to sleep and let you drive for a while? Which is certainly what you want to do with someone who's in that interesting mental state is be like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna nod off for a bit here. And um Travis, the Harry Dean Stanton's character, like goes off the road and pulls off into like a random vacant lot. So now they need to find their way back to the highway. But that's where you're introduced to why the hell the film is called Paris, Texas, right? Because he pulls out this picture of a plot of land that he had built, uh, or not that he had built, that he had bought in Paris, Texas, which wherever the hell that is. Um,
And does he explain he this is also when he explains why Paris, Texas, right?
yeah, this is where we're introduced to the why Paris, Texas. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So this is like the place, the city where he thinks he may have been conceived, right? He talks about like his dad would tell this joke about like this is about his mom as like this is the woman I met in Paris, Texas, right? And Harry Dean Stanton kind of laboriously goes over that joke, right? But
Mm-hmm.
this is kind of what like maybe like right the central symbol of the movie, right? This photograph of this plot of land he's kind of always holding out as this like potential place where like I don't know, he could start anew, the family could be reconstituted, right? It's like this I guess kind of like weird decayed version of the American dream, right? But it's literally just like a plot of empty desert.
Yeah. To which Walter's like, why the hell do you buy an empty plot of land? Right? Uh, Walter doesn't get it. He's got his new house that he's financed and is right by LAX, I guess. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so that's where they wind up. They get into LA um and pull into Walter's place and and it's near, oh, I'm sorry, the Burbank airport is what that's near. That's suppose different than LAX. Um sorry to Los Angeles folks. I don't understand how that city works. Um
Definitely not.
yeah, so then they get back and he's introduced to his kid, Hunter, that's been living with Walt and Anne, who's Walt's wife. Uh really like well shot introduction. Like it's the angle where like you're looking down from the stairs and you like can't really see Travis's head because it's like sort of hidden by
Yeah.
the top of the stairwell, but you can like hear them talking. So you really get like the from Hunter's point of view introduction to this Travis character as well.
Yeah, and this is one of the big tensions is of like this part of the movie, right? It's the primary tension is Hunter has been raised by Walt and what is Walt's wife's name? And Anne has been raised by Walt and Anne for the last 4 years since he was four, right? He thinks of them as his parents, right? And now he's being kind of introduced to this guy as his father, right? Who he doesn't really know, doesn't recognize, right? And so this like kind of middle part of the movie is about their sort of relationship gradually sort of developing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What'd you think of that green carpet?
Oh,
I
I
brought
love I love all the interiors in this movie. These feel like just such like, I don't know, they're just so physical, the the houses.
yeah, real sense of time there. It made me. We had some green carpet originally in my house when I was very young, before it got torn out, and it's so gross. Um, but
When does the carpet era start?
that
Because like I
that
grew up with like always carpet in the house, and now it's like I
right.
can't
I,
remember the last time.
I feel like at least the 70s, but I don't know if there was carpet before that, but definitely the 70s was like big carpet.
Yeah, yeah.
What
That's
a wild time.
mm,
It's like I feel like that is kind of like the limits of my empathy. It's like imagining wanting your house covered in carpet.
hmm yeah. Um, but as you mentioned, this middle part is all about Travis and Hunter, trying to reconnect. Um, and so there's a few ways in which this happens. There's the home videos that Walt shows. They do
Yeah.
that whole extended sequence of some videos that were shot of
Gorgeous Super 8 footage there. Love it. They
yeah,
say Super 8 in the movie, I'm pretty sure, and I was like,
they
Yeah.
yeah,
do, yeah.
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 Yeah, Walt is very like sure to mention it's on Super 8. So um yeah, so that's nice.
Yeah, and this is
Um
another moment in the film, right, where it's like images within images, right? Just like the photograph of the plot of land, you've then got like the sequence of the home movie, right? These images as real like material objects, right? Things that are kept, things that are like passed around, right? Physically.
right. Yeah. I mean, speaking of material objects too, there's this whole question of walking home from school versus taking the car. Um and
Nobody walks, everybody drives.
everyone drives.
That's
And
that's a very southern thing. I'm from Georgia, and so that's very much like, yeah, walking home was like not a thing that was even considered. It's like you just
yeah.
stay
Yeah,
there until someone picks you up.
It's even, I mean, also, spoiler alert, as they are walking home together eventually, LA is a pretty hilly place. I sort of get the car situation. As they were going up that hill, I'm like, that would actually really suck to have to walk back that way every day. Maybe a one-time thing, but it's very hilly. Um, and originally, perhaps because it is, not fun to actually walk home, Hunter, like the first time, comes out of school, sees his dad across the street, sees Travis across the street, and it's just like to his friend, like, "Hey, I'm gonna go home with you in your car, okay?" And just like leaves and gets driven home.
ice
Um,
cold.
I know. And I think the follow up then to that is Travis is like, here's what I have to do. I need to dress as father.
Oh,
And
I love this scene.
and so he has to decide. I think he's talking with like they have a cleaning woman, a maid that is like in the house, and he's talking with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's saying how like there's no in between. You either have to be a rich father or a poor one. What do you want to be? He's like, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I want to be a rich father, which I guess means you wear a three-piece suit and a hat. Thoughts on
Yeah,
the
yeah,
the
yeah.
the father, the daddy dress up
Mm.
situation here?
Think it's kind of hard to dress. I don't know how to figure out how to dress casual at that age. I don't know. Maybe it's just. I mean, I would have said, just like a nice button-down shirt and some jeans that aren't worn too much probably would have been fine. But then, the 80s is kind of like that weird kind of era where everybody, I think, was like dressing up a lot more than they do now. I think the
Yeah, yeah.
90s is when everybody started giving up.
Yeah, and it's interesting how that uncertainty of how to self-present as a father is like related to like class and wealth, right? And it's like he essentially wants to be, right, like the cultural figure we're always talking about on this podcast that Clark Griswold is, right, in Vacation, right? The prototypical white male middle class patriarch, right?
Mm,
He wants to be in between, right? But the tendencies of capitalism are destroying that in between, right? And you've
mm,
got to kind of be one or the other, as it turns out. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's so funny, like your date, like you were saying, like it that ends up looking like almost like cartoonish. Then this like performance of the rich, like he looks like he's like in like Scarface or something.
He looks good. I can tell I'm getting older because it's just like, okay, I think I kind of see what the appeal was. Whereas like when I was a kid, I was just like, that's just an old man and he just looks like different versions of an old man. And here I was just like, yeah, yeah, he's
yeah.
not bad looking.
Yeah, the hat was a bit much, but he generally
He has a
was
good head of hair. I think that that's what's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. And say what you will, but it does sort of seem to work for Hunter, right? Because,
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
Hunter talks to like is again with his friend, and his friend's like, "Who is that?" And he's like, "Well, that's my father." And he's like, "I thought that other guy was your father." And he's like, "I have two fathers." He's like, "I'm just lucky, I guess." And
Yeah.
like it's cool. I'm gonna sort of walk home now with I've my interest is peaked as Hunter, right? I've got second father that now I'm gonna they like walk on different sides of the road for seemingly most of the way home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um until then Travis crosses over to sort of walk, with Hunter the rest of the way home. So it works.
Yeah. And so like the first kind of like or maybe like I guess second tension is resolved, right? It's like the first part of the film, you're like, who's this guy, Travis? He doesn't talk, right? He gets rescued, he shaves, he starts to speak, right? Then second mode is him and Hunter, right? Can they connect as father and son? And they seemingly kind of do, right? They bridge that gap. He crosses the street, right?
Mhm.
And now in like the final part of the movie, the question of his mother comes up.
Yeah, because we learned that Anne Henderson has been uh, in contact, right, with Jane Henderson, Travis's wife, and Jane has been wiring money for Hunter on an ongoing basis. But she stopped calling maybe a year ago, but is still wiring this money, and that clues Travis into that Jane is most likely in Houston, wiring money from this particular bank. So now he needs to go find Jane.
Yeah. And to kind of yada yada some of it, right? It becomes like a caper now for a little bit, right? Of like him and the kid going on the road, surveilling, they're going to track her down, right?
It's kind of
Eh,
like a not sleazy hardcore situation.
yeah. And speaking of, right, they ultimately track her to this very like it's like a peep show place, right? But it's a very strange one. It's not like the like strip club you would see in like a conventional movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's like there's different rooms with different themes, right? So
Yeah,
like,
there's like the pool, there's like the cafe, and you can kind of watch these women through like a one-way mirror,
mhm.
or a two-way mirror, a one-way mirror.
uh,
It's
I,
a one
What are
way.
they
It's
called?
like he can
Yeah.
see her, but she can't see him.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Um
Yeah.
and like I mean I can't say I've like been to any peep shows in my day, so I don't know how accurate this is, but it seems like this very interestingly kind of like postmodern kishy vision of this, with like the coins and the slots and the different themed rooms, right?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's very much like a kind of like a fantasy of a peep show. What if a peep show, but it's you could still like talk about a tragic love story in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like this. It's kind of like this literary space, right? At the same time,
Mhm.
right?
hmm
Yeah,
Um,
man, writing there would be so good. I'd get so much inspiration at this peep show.
It
uh,
actually kind of it was funny like when the one I can't actually remember. I don't think it's like when he's like met his wife yet, but it's the first woman he encounters and she comes in and she says like I've been in like 23 of the 24 rooms here. I was like, "Wait, is Severance like doing like a Paris, Texas thing with like the different rooms that she goes in season 2? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?"
yeah, I do.
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
do.
Mm.
That's a thought.
Yeah. Um, well, and then I'd maybe compare that to what happens with Jane after she finishes all the rooms because they have this conversation. He comes back and he's having this conversation with her, and this is where like he has the big monologue, right?
Mhm.
Um, that's
And she, we should note, is played by Natasha Kinski, Klaus Kinski's daughter, and she is 35 years younger than Harry Dean Stanton.
yep.
Yes, I mean he says the movie is very honest about that, where he like mentions that they fell in love when she was like 17, which if you
Yeah,
do the math on that, it's one of those things where like uh youth Twitter, like essentially anyone, yeah, I'm 33, anyone I think younger than me would have a huge ish. I mean,
Well,
it's interesting in the sense that if you know anything about Natasha Kinski's background, you know that she was just kind of like in Hollywood, like as a teenager, as a young woman, very unsupervised, and everybody was kind of obsessed with her in creepy ways. I noticed one of an anecdote in Demi Moore's memoir that I think about a lot is her being at a hotel and running into Natasha, meeting Natasha Kinski, and like being like, oh wow, she was just like so, she was on her own, she was so independent, she was so adult, and like it was all of this like, oh man, I wish I was like sexy and cool like Natasha Kinski. And it's like, that's a child, you're both children.
yep. Yeah. Now, Jourdain, I don't know what you're talking about of how he says this, because all that he does is tell some vague story about some other guy and a younger woman that he met. I don't know what you're on about with this, because this is just an unrelated story he decides to monologue about, right?
It's an unrelated story about a 17-year-old girl and a man who is a bit older, he says.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But then
and them falling in love.
Jane is like, oh, that's the sort of random monologue my husband would do about a totally unrelated set of people.
Yeah.
That's how I know. That's how I know.
Yeah.
That's definitely him. So,
Well, if we're doing the math on this, just for the sake of the numbers, they broke up when she was 21. She is 25 in this interaction. Continue.
ooh. And the child is turning 8.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tally that up now. Continue
and
though.
during this monologue, we don't just learn about like this age gap, right? And like her age when they meet. We also learn that Travis was like a total piece of shit, right? With what even I'm trying to remember even the details of his like kind of like abusive behaviors, right? But he like ties her up, right?
Well, the thing is that he hates working because it means that he has to be away from her. So he becomes like obsessed with the idea that she's like sleeping with other men while he's at work. And then there's a situation where like he puts a cowbell on her so that he can hear when she gets out of bed. And then when she figured out a way to silence the cowbell, that's when he's like, okay, well, I'm gonna like chain her to like the radiator or something like that. It's yeah, it's a situation. I mean, I think you know how bad it is kind of. I guess the movie is like he's just been wandering around in Mexico for 4 years. He hasn't been talking. It's just like that's like his penance for that behavior.
Yeah.
While that behavior was nuts. And what's interesting is that like, well, his brother doesn't know what happened. His sister-in-law doesn't know what happened because I guess she didn't want to say. And then when she hears it back to her, like she's like emotional, but you don't see any anger. Like she's not mad at him.
Yeah. And like also the way the film is structured, right? You haven't really gotten any like tells that this is coming, right? So you've spent this entire first part of the movie falling in love with Travis because Harry Dean Stanton is so lovely, right? And he's such this like empathetic figure, and you see him winning over his son, and there's all these like adorable shots, right? And then you're gearing up for this like big romantic monologue at the end, right? And it instead takes you to this like incredibly like dark place that then you have to figure out how to commensurate with like the Travis you've known up to this point, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting that like Travis knows before anyone else does that it's not gonna work. Like he thinks that like for some reason he's like gotten it in his head that he's gonna fix everything and that he's gonna repair things. And then the moment that he like sees her and tells the story, he realizes, oh right, what I did was really bad, and there's really no coming back from that.
Yeah, yeah. Like the prior part of the movie hasn't actually like produced the penance for the requisite penance, right? Nor has like the 4 years in like Mexico, right? And the like
Mm-hmm.
essential vow of silence he seems to have, if not taken, ended up performing anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, then you pretty quickly have the conclusion where Jane goes up to the hotel room where Hunter is at, um, and they have a hug, and Travis is like watching the room from the top of a parking deck, and is like, "Yup," and gets in his beat up truck and drives off.
It's a really lovely and because the colors really freak it that like it's
Mm-hmm.
like this is the beautiful reunion that we were looking for. And it's interesting because, like, the last time we see Anne, she's just like in bed beside herself because this child, because it's kind of like implicit that, like, maybe she can't have children, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe this was like her big chance. And so it's just like she spent 4 years with this child. Maybe she'll get over it. It kind of seems like it's like, well, maybe when I kind of imagine that she got a call and she's just like, Hunter's with his mother, and that might make her feel better than
Yeah, yeah.
him being with Travis.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Ugh. Um, there you have it. He drives away. You see his car driving away from Houston.
Yeah, yeah. And like it's like the road, right, has been such a part of this movie. There's so many like driving from Texas to California, driving back, right? Um and that ends up being like kind of the place he has to return to, right? He like kind of has to be in transit, it almost seems like.
So now that we've talked about Paris, Texas, I have a little game that we like to call Vox Populi. So this film is called Paris, Texas. We never go to Paris, Texas, though. It's I think essentially
Yeah.
just a picture there. Um, the joke being, of course, that they say Paris, but it's actually referring to Paris, Texas. So what I've got for you all, I'm curious. I'll see how you all do with this. I've got a few trivia questions. Some of them are about Paris, some are about Texas, but actually none of them are about Paris or Texas.
All
So
right.
so I've got just a few trivia questions. We'll see, Devin and Jourdain, how you do with these. The first question: have y'all heard of the Louvre? The the Louvre. You got to check it out, y'all. You got to check it out. It's the largest art museum in the world by gallery space, at over 72,000 square meters of gallery space. So my question to you all is: where is the second largest museum in the world after the Louvre?
Huh. Okay, I have a guess.
Okay. Jourdain, you locked in?
I'm locked in.
Okay. Devin, what do you think?
Is it London?
It sure is not.
Ah.
Were you gonna say like
Oh man, that
the
was gonna be my guess.
oh shit.
I don't know.
Now,
I've been to some of the museums in London and I feel like they were pretty big,
yeah, actually,
big place.
yeah, no museum in London even breaks the top five. So
Oh,
now let me give you four options, and we'll see who gets this right. So which of these is the second largest museum in the world by gallery space? Is it the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City, the State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg, the National Museum of China in Beijing, or is it the Grand Egyptian Museum in Giza?
I'll let Jourdain guess first.
China?
Okay. And Devin, what do you think?
I'll say St. Petersburg, like the Soviet Union, maybe like back when it was like height of Cold War tensions, it was like, let's make the biggest museum possible.
Sure. So the National Museum of China is 65,000 square meters of gallery space. The State Hermitage Museum in St. Petersburg is 66,842
All
square
right.
meters. And go, of course, the Russians are like down to the square meter, right? It's like the Chinese are like 65,000. It's nice, it's neat. And so Devin, you're correct by just a hair, an extra thousand and change square
This
meters of
rem
gallery space. So
this reminds me of like when there's always like discourse about who has the biggest college football stadium. And then I don't know if you remember when we were at Penn State, it was like Michigan had to do renovations for like a few years. So there was like this like brief window where the Penn State stadium was big, had more seats than the Michigan stadium, and people were like proud of that. I was
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
who fucking cares?
Right. Because like
Um,
gallery space probably doesn't matter as much as like what is in said gallery space, you would imagine.
yeah, yeah. Size of the
Yeah.
ship, motion of the ocean, etc.
Okay. So Devin, you're up by one, but this is a chance for anyone to come back. And I think the way that I'm gonna do this, yeah, here's how this is gonna work. Y'all ever been to Six Flags?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know. Like, I guess what do you
Yeah.
have like Dorney Park out your way, Devin? I guess that's
I
probably the
grew up right by
closest.
Dorney Park, so we actually mostly just went there. Yeah.
Okay, I did Hershey Park growing up. I don't know, Jourdain, did you have like a theme park that you would go to, or do you avoid theme parks, or what's your go-to?
I mean, I think my family took us to there was a Six Flags over Georgia. I remember going
Mm,
there, and
yeah.
this place called Carowinds.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Well, as you allude to, Jourdain, Six Flags comes from, in this case, Six Flags over Texas, which is an amusement park that was named after the flags of the six nations that have governed Texas. So the question is, what are those six nations? And Jourdain, I'll let you go and we'll see how many you all are able to get. So what are those six nations? Give me one of the nations, and then Devin will go and we'll go back and forth.
Six nations, like different countries have governed
Yes.
Texas.
So one of them should be fairly apparent, given that
Ah,
it is the current nation that, at least for the time being, governs Texas.
oh, well, the United States.
Correct. And so when you would go to the Six Flags originally, they'd have these six flags like spread
Huh.
around. So one would be the flag of the United States, which of course presides over Texas. And before you wonder, like, no, Texas in the 60s or whenever they came up with this amusement park didn't consider indigenous people really to have, nations. So don't try and be creative with this, I will say.
Okay, I was wondering if any of them were going to be that.
Yeah.
But so obviously the only other one I'm solid on is Mexico.
You are correct, Devin. So that's a point to you. So US, the United States of America, and Mexico. So both of those would be the flags. Jourdain, what do you think?
Hmm. Trying to think like God, this is something my boyfriend would crush this. I don't have any like fun fact. I don't know. Trying to think of all of the nations that colonized any of the territories. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not France.
You
I
are
feel
correct.
like
France is one of them. France
oh
had
wow, France is
territory.
one of them.
Uh-huh. So part of the Louisiana Purchase that I believe covered part of Texas as well. So France is one of the flags for the Six Flags. So you've tied it up at 2 to
Wow.
2. Devin, we've got France, Mexico, and the United States. Who else has presided over Texas?
I mean, I don't really have any specific knowledge about this, but when it comes to colonialism, I would never bet against the British. So, like,
Hmm.
did they ever make it over there?
Devin, no. The British
Ah,
did not have any claim over Texas. So I award you no points. The UK, the British flag, was not one of the original six flags. But there are three more flags. Jourdain, you have the chance to take the lead. Uh,
Okay.
so, for instance, before there was Mexico, there was somebody else that controlled Mexico.
oh,
Oh, Spain?
Correct. The Spanish flag was another of the six flags. We need Jourdain, you've taken the lead, but Devin, you can tie us back up if you can name one of the other two flags that flies over Six
uh,
Flags, or that
I
did
don't know.
when. Yeah. No.
Portugal.
You are incorrect. Jourdain, I'll give you one more chance to steal.
Wow.
Jourdain, you know the Texans are a very proud people, right? Have you ever heard this? Have you ever
Yes.
heard of
Oh
that?
man, I knew they were gonna do this.
And so there was a time in between Mexico and the United States when another flag flew over Texas. Do you know what flag that was?
Proud people. Hmm. Hmm. Well, it is not coming to me. I don't know.
No? Well, that's fine because Devin,
No,
you're
I don't
out
know.
because you missed two in a row. But I will tell you the remaining two, which
Well,
I'm
one of
guessing
them's
Devin.
Texas, right?
One of them is the Republic of
Okay.
Texas. That is
Yeah, yeah.
correct.
Oh my God,
Ridiculous.
the Republic of Texas.
There,
Wow.
there was
Okay.
that
Yeah,
brief
I should
moment,
guess that.
but lest we forget, there was also one little other country wedged in there. Um, the other flag that they would fly at Six Flags Over Texas is, of course, the Confederate States of America, which would
Oh
be the sixth
man.
flag. The
Ah!
sixth flag. So
Oh
if you're wondering why they don't continue to fly the Six Flags over Six Flags theme parks, I think they don't. I cannot confirm this, but I have to believe that they do not. Is because the sixth one of the Six Flags is the Confederate flag. So
man,
Oh
what a
my
like
God, I should have been
galaxy
able to
brain
guess
maneuver.
that.
Like just doing all of that, like this whole conceit basically just so you can fly a Confederate flag, like, oh no, I'm just flying all the flags.
yeah.
It's like if you went
Yeah.
out on my lawn and I had like fucking like Vichy France and a swastika flag and a Union Jack.
Yeah,
The
it's
Confederate flag.
yep.
Never gonna escape that one.
Nope. So at anytime any of our viewers go to Six Flags, just remember from whence that name comes. Um, all
Wow.
right.
This is how I learned that Six Flags was originally Southern, which like makes sense now that you
Mm-hmm.
say.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
had no
But
idea.
Jourdain, you have taken the lead over Devin. You're leading now 3-2,
Ah.
which brings us to our next question. This has a correct answer here. And the way I'll do it is if you neither of you get it correct, I'm going to give it to whoever gets closest. Y'all ever heard of Disneyland Paris?
Mm-hmm.
That's a thing. That opened in 1992. But in 2025, Disney announced that there would be a brand new addition to its set of theme parks. Where will this new Disney theme park be located?
Huh. I have a thought that I don't want to say, so I'll guess. I'll guess like somewhere in China, like
Okay.
Shanghai or something, Beijing.
Shanghai.
I'll
Okay.
say
You got
Shanghai.
Okay, I was gonna say you can't just put in
I'll
multiple
commit to
answers.
the.
So
I'll commit to the
Shanghai.
first thing I said.
Okay, Shanghai, Disneyland. Jourdain, what do you think?
I never think about Disneyland. Wow, that's
That's a
just
sign of
mad.
a. That's a sign of a
That's
life
yeah.
well lived.
That's yeah. You automatically. I should give you a point just for that response. But
Uh, yeah, I have no idea. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I'm not gonna get this. I'm just gonna say like Budapest.
Hell
okay,
yeah. We're
okay.
a Hungarian household. We love it. If
Yes, I'm
I
just
just want to say, if
yeah.
I find out it's Tel Aviv, I'm going to be really mad.
Let me just run the numbers here on who is closer. So I will say, Jourdain, you were off by 5,305 kilometers. Devin, you were off by. It can't be that hard, Google. It can't be that hard to tell me the distance between these two places. It's so far away that it won't tell me, Devin. It won't give me. It will not give me a route from from
Jeez, I
this.
mean,
I will
Shanghai's a
tell
major
you.
city.
I know, but apparently to get from Shanghai to Abu Dhabi in the United Arab Emirates is simply too far
Ugh,
of a
I
travel.
should have said Tel Aviv.
Okay.
You should.
Wow. Okay. I thought Abu Dhabi, but I was just like, no, there's no way.
You would
There's just
think there's
no
no way,
way.
wouldn't you? You would think that, but
Yeah.
you still get the point because you were closer than Shanghai.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, looking on the map right now, Shanghai, just from a game theory perspective, wasn't really a good idea. It's
well,
kind
because
of
they have a
really far away
Tokyo
from
one, right?
everything.
They have a
True.
Disneyland
Yeah.
Tokyo. So
I
I
was
guess
just
they
trying to think
figured
like thawing relations or something. They're
you'd
putting one in
think.
China now,
Nope,
but
there's another place where relations are greatly improving these days, and that's between
You
us
know,
and the United Arab Emirates. Yeah.
the Sex in the City too, I believe, takes place in Abu Dhabi.
that's one of the major worlds of Disneyland Abu Dhabi. Sex of the City 2 only, though. Mr. Big would be a good name for a roller coaster.
You should submit that ticket to them, Devin. So I'm sure that that park will be built with humane conditions. Jourdain, you have taken the lead 4-2 against Devin, though. Which brings us, we're in the last few questions here. What do we have? Two more questions. Here's a question that's not about Paris. Paris syndrome is a sense of extreme disappointment exhibited by some individuals when they visit Paris, who feel that the city does not live up to their expectations. The condition is commonly viewed as a severe form of culture shock. It's been particularly noted among Japanese tourists due to the way that Paris is idealized in Japanese culture. This should not be confused with Jerusalem syndrome, which refers to what?
Jerusalem syndrome.
Correct.
Jerusalem syndrome.
What? I've never heard of this in my life. Wow.
Again, probably a good thing.
Does it refer
You know,
to
I
like
assumed that you would get it, Dev.
Does it refer to thinking something's yours because you read about it in a book? I don't fucking know.
Okay, so that's Devin, your idea. Jourdain, any ideas of what Jerusalem syndrome could possibly refer to?
Jerusalem syndrome. I don't know. I mean, is it like the opposite? Is it like people end up liking it more than they would expect when they go?
So here's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to award you each a point. Because you're both sort of right in a way. Jerusalem syndrome is a mental illness rarely seen in people who visit Jerusalem, which manifests itself with obsessive religious thoughts, delusions, psychotic symptoms, and some and essentially you start to think that like you are a new messiah, or like you have some role to play in the workings of God. And so Devin and Jourdain, I think you're both touching on different points of what Jerusalem syndrome captures. So there you go. Yeah. So
That's crazy.
I know.
Wow.
Apparently there's been like some people that were just like they flew to Jerusalem. They weren't particularly religious, but then they're like, I'm the new John the Baptist. And that's just what, and they were like found out in the desert, wandering and things like that. So
This is the opposite of what happens to people when they move to Philadelphia. And they're just like, their aspirations just immediately tank. And they're just like, well, hey, I'm never going to be anybody, but the rent here is pretty cheap. I could just kind of, get by.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, Jourdain, you're up by 2, but let's see what happens for this last question.
All right.
Texas is famously known as the Lone Star State. It has 1 star in its flag. I don't know if you're all aware of that. You would be if you looked up when you went to Six Flags and saw the the Republic
If you
of
didn't
Texas
get too
flag.
distracted by the Confederate flag, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Which U.S. state has the most stars on it? And how many stars does
on
it
its
have?
flag?
Which flag? Yeah, which U.S. state flag has the most stars, and how many stars does it have? So this is a twofer. You can earn up to 2 points for this.
Huh. Man. I do not know flags. I don't think Pennsylvania has any.
Uh-huh.
Who's got a bunch of stars? We're just talking of the 50 states only.
Yes, correct.
I'm just gonna make a random guess. Massachusetts.
Okay, how many stars do you think are on the Massachusetts state flag, Jourdain?
It really doesn't matter. I don't know. 9?
9. Okay. The 9-starred Massachusetts state flag compared to Devin, what do you think?
Indiana 7.
Indiana 7. Well, you're both wrong. The correct answer is Arkansas.
Oh my God, I almost said Arkansas.
But you didn't.
No.
Arkansas has 29 stars on its flag.
Oh man, I'm sure it's not for fucked up reasons or anything.
Do you want to know? Because you probably don't need to. Well, There's 25 because it was the 25th state admitted. Then there's like 1 star and 3 stars below it in the middle because like we needed more stars. And the 3 stars, this is so unoriginal. It's because there are 3 other nations that Arkansas belonged to: France, Spain, and the US. You might say, hey, you're missing one that we covered in Six Flags, but don't worry, that's the star at the top, which, of course, is because Arkansas was part of the Confederacy. So,
Man,
Jourdain gets both of those, though, or sorry, at least 1 point, because closer to
closer in the number
29.
for sure.
It's
Yeah.
too many stars. It's far too many stars.
That's so many stars. I wouldn't even have like thought it was more than 10.
Like imagine being like a third grader. It's like you have an assignment to draw your state's flag. It's gonna take forever.
Oh my God, this flag sucks. It's just a diamond that says Arkansas with a bunch of stars around it.
Oh, at least though you know what the state is because they wrote it out.
It looks like a warning sign, like like on the side of the highway.
Yeah. So, okay.
Well, Arkansas famously gave us Billy Bob Thornton, so that is a bit of a warning, just in general.
Yeah,
That is, yeah. He should be plastered with the Arkansas flag.
I think
Jourdain.
Arkansas might be the state I know the least about.
Okay.
It's super racist, but like it's closer to the west, so people don't like think about that. But it's like it's like super racist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I also think Gina Davis has a film festival there. She has a film festival called Bentonville, and I think I got invited once, and I believe it's in Arkansas, but I couldn't go. I was busy.
And I mean, but Jourdain, you're missing maybe the most important person from Arkansas, from a little place called Hope, Arkansas. No, that was a whole selling point. That was Bill Clinton's whole thing, or the follow-up to Bill Clinton, Mike Huckabee, who was also from Hope, Arkansas. What a fucked up town that must be. Yeah.
Bill Clinton.
Anyhow,
Somebody from
Yeah.
Yes.
You ended with twice as many points as Devin, which means that you are fair and square the winner of this week's Vox Populi.
Curious why this movie is so many like film people's favorite movie. Like I've been a film critic since since like 2018, and I've known, like, I watched Paris, Texas because I knew, okay, this is the movie that you have to watch, and it's really beautiful, and I love Wim Wenders' work. I prefer Wings of Desire, but yeah, like this is such an interesting movie from like a film buff perspective, just because like I've always kind of wanted to know like what specifically everyone is responding to. Is it the colors? Is it Harry? Is it just the whole surprise of it, the way that it unfolds? Is it that it's like a very sentimental kind of road movie? I've always been trying to figure out, understand, because I don't know, because I mean I come from I mean I think there are a lot of films, like, as a critic, that I love, that people would expect me to love, like The Night of the Hunter or like Citizen Kane, but I can explain why I love The Night of the Hunter and Citizen Kane. I can't explain what the appeal of Paris, Texas is really. Like, I enjoyed watching it. Like, I was like, oh, I get to watch Paris, Texas again today. Well, like, this is nice, but when you think about what it's about, it's like, why is this such a feel-good movie for everyone? Why is everybody love this so much?
Yeah, and I wonder if like to get at figuring that out, it's worth thinking about like the time this is coming out, right? Because it's 1984, and it's so crazy to think about like in a few months, like every state but Massachusetts is going to vote for Ronald Reagan, right? Like this is a
Jesus.
like deeply reactionary moment in like mainstream American political culture. And a lot of the art that gets like lauded from the 80s is so like oppositional, like sort of like punkish stuff that's very like kind of fuck the system or like no future or whatever. But like Paris, Texas feels to me just like within all of that soup of like the sort of like punk resistance et al. And like Reaganite reaction. It's kind of this weird, just sort of like largely silent kind of like I don't know, like meditative film, And I wonder if like that's part what people are finding so comforting about it. It's like as like underworldy as it actually is, like as haunted as it actually is, it's also kind of like this weird refuge. It's like a place you can go to sort of, escape all that, but then also you can't, right? Because like all he kind of finds is his own like loneliness and isolation, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I think about one of my favorite things to do as just like a film nerd in general, I don't get paid to do this, is just to look at films that come from different decades, look at the most popular films that come from decades, and then look at the most loved films from that decade and see what the
Mm-hmm.
difference is. And I would say like for the 80s, everything is so much bigger and louder than what Paris, Texas is doing. Like if you walked into a theater, because like Paris, Texas comes out the same year as I believe Gremlins and Weird Science. So when you think about that, it's like you're going to the theater, you're seeing Gremlins, you're going to see Weird Science, you're going to see, like whatever the fuck, and then it's like, oh, Paris, Texas, that's a whole different. Like you would know if you were in the wrong theater. Paris, Texas comes on. Yeah, in 1984. I mean, I wasn't there because I was born in 92, but I assume, in 84, this must have been really. It's also the 80s are interesting, especially if you look at the Oscar nominations, like kind of like the stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was all like the more like serious stuff, more of the sprawling stuff. The 80s, like when you
Mm.
like, Terms of Endearment won Best Picture in the 80s. You couldn't imagine a movie like that winning Best Picture
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
literally any other time.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
mean,
The
it's
kind.
crazy because Terms of Endearment is great, but it's like no one, like, you couldn't get all of as many people to see it now.
Oh,
Hmm.
definitely not. And it would go straight to streaming, right? It wouldn't even be like a theatrical
Absolutely.
phenomenon, probably. But it feels like, yeah, like the 80s are a time when as loud as the 80s are, right? And as like
Yeah.
electronic as the 80s are, right? It's like what's getting accorded prestige is like, yeah, the escape from that, right? The
Huh.
contemplative, the quiet. And it's also like this whole issue of the family, right? Like the 80s are such a decade for like neoliberalism is happening and that's getting articulated through the family. Like, Thatcher saying there are no individuals, or I'm sorry, there is no society, there are only individuals and their families, right? And the whole like
Hmm.
family valuesification of the Republican Party is happening. And this movie seems to be like kind of like thinking about that in some way to me, right? Like it's trying to think like can this family unit be reconstructed by this guy who kind of like missed out on becoming like a successful bourgeois white guy like his brother did.
Hmm.
But his brother, of course, is like selling
Yeah.
ads, right? His brother makes like
Yeah.
billboards, right? So it's like that's where the money
Yeah.
is. Like it's not in
Hmm.
something like authentic, quote unquote, right? It's in like there's this great part where they're like talking on the billboard and it's like partially a female model and partially like the Oakland Raiders logo because they're still in the process of like switching it over, right? And like
Mm,
for his brother, right? Like the images are all interchangeable, right? But he's just carrying on that one photograph, right?
Hmm.
yeah. And I also think about, I also thought this time around, like, what had happened if their family unit had stayed together? At what
Mm-hmm.
point would Hunter realize, like, how, like, yeah, I keep on trying to imagine like a teenage Hunter, like, trying to explain his parents to someone.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
what that would, because I mean, like, if it's 84, he's 8. So like if you add, so by the time he's like hitting like his teen years, it'll be the 90s. So, like, explain, you don't
Yeah.
have to explain his old dad and his young mom to literally everybody. I I find this movie so funny in terms of like there's never been any discourse, and I'm not saying I mentioned age gap discourse not because I care, but because I find it so interesting that
Mm-hmm.
like because the younger set has not found this, because there was no conversation about it. It was just like, what if there was, because what is the best case scenario for a relationship like that even?
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. And it's like the
Yeah.
movie almost can't imagine that, right? So it has to just have Travis drive off.
Right. Well, that the way that
Yeah.
Travis is almost like a force in this film, right? Like almost ethereal in this way, where you wonder, like, is he sort of even just a ghost of a person, and that he kind of
Mm-hmm.
represents this traumatic episode that happened 4 years ago. He sort of stumbles back onto the scene, if only to, you talk about like the family unit, Devin. Like I guess the main change is like getting Hunter back with his mother, and then he just disappears again, maybe with some resolution in that, like closing the Travis of chapter for his wife in some regard, but like he almost feels like a force of nature in how he sort of rolls onto the scene out of the
Mm-hmm.
desert, and by the end just drives off into the night. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah. Now he seems like a guy where it's like she would be telling this story about this like older man that she was with who was like the father of her child, and like you could imagine like a story where she's like looking for love, and then the barrier being that she has this big heavy story that she would have to explain to someone. And I
Mm-hmm.
keep just like, or would she even talk about it at all? Would she just be like,
Yeah.
this is me, I have my son, we're not going to talk about who his dad was?
And it's like, and we hear that story, right, from Travis primarily, right? Him
Yeah.
talking towards her as she's not seeing him, right? She's seeing her own reflection, right? And then she has her monologue after that, right? She does like how, and I think it's really interesting how this movie ends with almost like three monologues in a row because you've got the tape that Travis records for Hunter that plays, and then right after that, you have Travis's monologue to Jane. And then right after that, you have Jane's monologue to Travis. And it's such a strange structure for a movie, right? Like this movie that, as you said, Jordan, like kind of flies by for being 2.5 hours. And the fact that it ends with like these three monologues and still feels so breezy is kind of like a magic trick to me. I don't understand how it pulls it off so well, you know? Um,
She is so, her performance is, I loved her performance so much more now, because at first I was just like, how is she, how does she, but you can see like everything on her face, and you can also see that part of the reason why she's not like like breaking down or anything is because you can see how much she's pushed this, how much
yeah.
she's kind of like minimized it, how much she's romanticized it a little bit, where it's like she seems like kind of like aching to see him, and it's him who is kind of like mature enough to be like, she shouldn't see me,
Yeah.
we should not touch at all, because that would be a disaster.
mm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. like and they remain like mediated by the screen, right? Essentially, like the mirror
Yeah.
essentially becomes a screen, and the like camera is pretty it like basically doesn't move during the monologues, right? We get basically
Yeah.
one shot, and they reposition right for the second one, but we're forced to kind of like just kind of sit there and occupy the position of each of them kind of receiving the monologue, and it's really wild. Like, something I was really noticing this time rewatching the film is how much incidental stuff with space there is, and like the cosmos, right? Like Hunter is kind of obsessed with space. He has Star Wars bedding. There's this bit where he's talking to Travis about like the speed of light, and like telling this story about how, like, if you traveled at the speed of light, you would only age an hour, but like a baby would be an old man, right? And then also, of course, it's like circling around Houston, and its relationship to outer space, right? So again, kind of thinking about what you were talking about, Jourdain, with like the '80s and like what we tend to think of as '80s culture, and it's the decade of Reagan's Star Wars and all that stuff. It's interesting to me, like the
Hmm.
films kind of seems to be doing something with like it doesn't take us to space, obviously, but like Hunter's like kind of like increasingly cosmic concerns are interesting to me. I don't exactly know what's going on there, but it kind of feels like this like longing for like the ability to sort of escape the confines of America or something. Yeah.
Well, yeah, because he has this like, lovely and safe family unit that he knows that he could always return to and they would always want him. But it's almost like he goes with Travis, not just because he wants to know his birth parents, but because he wants to know what it's like to be, out there, out of like the confines of the life that he has. And
Mhm.
Texas, I
Mm.
mean, Texas is very much like out there, like anywhere kind of like in that area where there's desert. That's where like they do a lot of like testing for,
Mm-hmm.
scientific concerns and whatnot. So it's kind of just like it's a big adventure. And the end, like the way that the colors look, like you could just imagine it's like he's landed on this like new planet with his
Yeah.
mom.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
definitely. Just like also at the beginning, right? It almost seems like Travis has kind of like crash landed, like he's like the man who fell to Earth or
Hmm.
something, right? He seems to have
Yeah,
come from
yeah,
elsewhere.
Mm.
yeah.
I also love the bit with the screaming man on the bridge, where there's like a part
Oh
where Travis is
yeah.
walking across this bridge and you hear this guy screaming, "They will invade you in your beds. They will snap you from your hot tubs. They will pluck you right out of your fancy sports cars. There is nowhere, absolutely nowhere in this godforsaken valley. I'm talking about from the range of my voice right here, clear out to the Mojave Desert and beyond that." And he goes on, right? But I noticed something really interesting with the sound mixing this time, which is as Travis is approaching, that monologue, that screaming is mixed like with like a bunch of reverb, and it sounds like it's coming from like the sky almost, like it sounds otherworldly. And
Hmm.
it's only as Travis
Mhm.
gets close to him on the bridge, actually right around where he says from the range of my voice, that the mixing shifts to being like sounding, purely diegetic, right? Like what Travis would be hearing. And it seemed to be like
Yeah,
in that
yeah.
moment too, it's like this like there's these weird moments of the film where it seems like you might be like escaping into some kind of like supernatural or like cosmic space, right? But
Hmm.
then you
Yeah.
you are also consistently tied back to the earth, right? And it's like the sand and the dunes and the textures. But
Hmm. Mm. Yeah.
what do you
No,
guys make of that screaming guy?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love Screaming Guy. Well, it's very, it's a very kind of like art film kind of touch there. And I love it. And I love how Travis stops to listen to him for a bit, and then he kind of gets he feels like he gets the gist, and it's just like, okay, I can move on. I just love the pause and walk.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They don't make them like that anymore. It's just you get to learn something new on your walk to the random billboard that your brother is putting up.
It's a big it reminds me of like Jonathan Demme, just all of the random stuff that can happen in a Jonathan Demme movie and all the different people that
Yeah,
you can
yeah.
meet.
Yeah, and now they would all just be tweeting at us.
Ugh.
Yeah.
As a person with a lot of Twitter followers, most of them, I just should talk a little bit less.
Tell me about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Have we talked on this podcast about how like a billion incels called me gay for having not seen Band of Brothers?
I forget
Band
if.
of Brothers of all things?
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
It's that he had it. I guess the idea was that your girlfriend had seen it, but you had
Yeah.
not.
Correct.
But and you had not until this year of 2025, and so they were very upset about
Yeah.
about. I
Because
think
you're not
probably
a
the
real
1-2
man if you
knockout.
haven't seen Band of Brothers.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just more
yeah.
of an Eastern Front guy. What can I say? You know?
Yeah.
I was gonna say you're more into Generation Kill, which I I used to have a Generation Kill box set. The old me is a mystery to me. I don't know her. She also watched every episode of Entourage, so I really don't know her. Yes,
There was a
I've
time,
seen every
yeah.
episode of Entourage, and I've seen the movie.
See, that's the things. If Ethan and I were truly committed to examining the cultural detritus of the 20th century, we would be like watching all of Entourage, and that's how you know we're ultimately fakes, charlatans.
You haven't. You should watch all of Entourage, not because it's good, but because it's just the weirdest experience ever. Also, in the movie, Turtle wants to hook up with Ronda Rousey, and I just find that to be the funniest thread for him.
Oh,
That is also
man.
so funny just to consider like that as like Entourage, like its longevity, right, of that film, because like having to explain to someone in like 20 years like who Ronda Rousey was so that like sequence makes sense, you know?
Oh.
That show that show. I mean, it at some point Vinny Chase gets beat up by Eminem on that show, and that was funny to me, and I did enjoy that. I don't even like Eminem, but it's like I like him more than Vinny Chase. So
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's a real Alien v Predator situation there, right?
Oh.
and Turtle literally dates like there's a plot where Turtle dates not like Meadow Soprano, like but the actress who plays Meadow Soprano. And it's just the whole thing is just like you're dating Meadow Soprano, and no one can believe it.
Man, I'm trying to like
There's
I'm
so
just
many
like
tidbits.
glancing at the Entourage Wikipedia page because I was trying to get a handle on like who some of these characters are. And there's a themes and characteristics section and there are two themes listed. They are male friendship and Hollywood lifestyle.
There you have it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, you get to watch Matt Dillon's brother Kevin Dillon. Get to watch him have an identity crisis about he plays Vinny Chase's less famous brother who had a TV show, and it's like he's playing a different version of himself because he is Kevin Dillon, not Matt Dillon. And also the show that he is famous for doing, it was called Viking Quest.
Okay, I think I've got a take that is going to synthesize Entourage in Paris, Texas.
Wow.
Okay.
And this is fresh out of the oven, so it's definitely still raw in the middle. But all right. End of the American dream, right? It's decaying, right? We've reached the end of the continent. There's nowhere else to go, right? What can you do? You can go backwards, right? So you can, like Travis, try to go back to your place of origins to Paris, Texas, right? You can go up like the space program, right? You can get off the planet, right? Or you could do what the Entourage boys do and you just make movies, right? You don't actually have to go anywhere. You could just keep expanding the American dream through forever through, Viking Quest and the Aquaman movie.
Oh yeah. Oh man. I love the bit about Aquaman 2 starring Jake Gyllenhaal instead of Vinny Chase. I know so much of smoke jumpers. I think about the fake movie Smoke Jumpers all the time.
Man,
Uh.
and it's crazy that like it was we lived in a world in which there was this like kind of trashy show making fun of trashy Hollywood via Aquaman, and now we live in the world of like having to do vulgar tourism about Aquaman too, like
Oh my God, those
Yeah.
those Aquaman movies. I can't deal with them because I don't I love Nicole Kidman more than maybe any white woman in the world. Like number one white woman, Nicole Kidman. I do not believe that Nicole Kidman with those narrow hips could push out anything the size of Jason Momoa. Like that's
yeah,
crazy. Like
yeah.
every single time I look at her, I feel like an ache. Like there's no way that could come out of there. She'd be dead.
uh,
Man, you
well,
put
that's
the
what, yeah. When Paramount does their hostile takeover of Warner Brothers, if it's not bought by Netflix, I hear that we are promised an Aquaman 3. That's, you know, don't worry,
oh
Patriots.
great.
Trump has guaranteed that Paramount will put an Aquaman 3 into production.
Aqu-
It's okay.
Aquaman 3.
Aquaman, and there's so many, yeah,
I
so many plot threads you could build on from the first two, I'm sure.
Who owns the rights to Paris, Texas? Is there like potential
Oh,
for
God.
like, like a Paris,
Expanded
oh,
Texas
universe.
sequel where like Hunter,
oh,
finally gets to Paris, Texas and he builds the house on the land, and
oh,
um
wow.
Hmm.
he would actually you could do a two-hander with him and Aquaman because it would be like, one's really dry, one's really wet. It just kind of evens each other out.
Yeah. Well, that's the great thing when you have these films with the really problematic age differences in the actors is that you can do a sequel 40 years later and you can bring back at least half of the equation. So, yeah, great ideas there, Devin. I think there's something to work with.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
so speaking about like being dry versus being wet, I think it's time to hand out the Jimmy Buffets.
Which you did not explain to Jourdain, and so
I did
I'm
mention it
I'm
in one of
learning
my
about the Jimmy
DMs,
Buffets.
but
yeah.
so uh, because of a joke we made in the first episode that we just like keep on living down in the sunk cost fallacy, we always rate the movies in terms of someone is like our rating scale. So this being our
Mhm.
summer vacation miniseries, right? We were like, who most captures the essence of vacation, right? And we
Mhm.
felt it was Jimmy Buffett. So we're rating the films in terms of Jimmy Buffett or Jimmy's Buffett. This miniseries. Ethan, did you want
Okay.
to give your rating first so Jourdain can kind of see how it works? But also, it doesn't work any particular way. You could just kind of do whatever you want.
Yes, yeah.
Mhm.
There are no rules. However, I have a strict code of rules that I apparently am falling into with this series, Devin, the summer vacation series, because I'm going back to an old familiar favorite from my National Lampoon's Vacation. I'm going to rate this in terms of cheeseburgers in paradise,
Mm.
similar to what I did for that vacation. Um, but I'm gonna because it's sort of you get the sense with like the grand backscape of North Texas and even like Los Angeles. But then you've got this weird dude Travis walking around in front of it. And what is this if not a cheeseburger in paradise? And I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 cheeseburgers in paradise. Um, the half being that like it's hard to convey for those of you who have not seen Paris, Texas, what the fuck I'm talking about with like how well shot it is and just how like warm it feels to like watch these scenes. And it's the half is sort of like, have you ever taken a cheeseburger to go? Like you take half a cheeseburger to go, and like later, like you can eat the half a cheeseburger later, but it's never gonna really capture what that cheeseburger was in its prime. And so I think that's
Yeah.
the same way we're describing Paris, Texas, but see it because that's really the only way to sort of get that sense of just how well crafted, just from a cinematography perspective, this film is. And so I'm going to give it 4.5 cheeseburgers in paradise, Paris,
Yeah.
Texas.
The ideal cheeseburger really, it's like it shouldn't even be a taking it to go situation. It's even like once you pick it up, you can't put it down. Do you know what I
Mm.
mean? Like
Hmm.
like the best cheeseburger is like, okay, I'm gonna eat some of my fries to kind
Yeah.
of warm up, and then it's like, all right, I'm going in, I'm picking up the cheeseburger, and then I'm doing nothing but eating this cheeseburger until it's gone.
And part of it is the taste, but part is also, the moment that cheeseburger leaves your hands, it's not coming. It will
Yeah,
disintegrate
yeah.
into it's yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
It's
Your grip
one and
is the
done.
only thing keeping it together.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Devin?
Yeah, so I love this movie. It's just so it almost feels like lame loving it because it's just so right like it's like the quintessential sort of like quiet contemplative art film. But
Mm.
it works on me, right? Like the cinematography works on me, the acting works on me, the colors, the pink in Jane's sweater at the peep show, like those are the things I always like think about when I think of this movie. Um, and so I'm gonna give it 5 Jimmy Buffetts.
Wow.
And apparently he has a song called "Chanson pour les petits enfants." So look, song for the little children, but it does have a
Oh,
French title. So
wow.
this, of course, being um, a film about Paris, I gotta give it that Jimmy Buffett.
I mean, straight into the point, Devin. And I love when we provide a numbers here without any sense of scale. That I think is another strength of the system we have. Leave the audience guessing as to whether or not a 5 is out of 5 or out of 10 or out of who knows. Um, Jourdain, I don't know if our examples have been helpful or have further confused you as to how we are rating these films on our summer vacation, but I'll turn it over to you. Do you have an idea of how you would like to rate Paris, Texas in terms of Jimmy's Buffett?
In terms of Jimmy Buffett, well, my only understanding of Jimmy Buffett is whatever I learned from that Always Sunny episode,
That's
which is not
sufficient.
much.
Yeah.
Uh, have you seen that episode, Devin, by the way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay. So we've all seen the gang solves the bathroom problem. A classic episode. I love watching that episode. It's I call that
Uh,
show the bad white people show because because the white people and they're bad, but I love them. I love them. They're so bad.
Yeah.
I watched also all of the removed blackface episodes too, just out of curiosity.
Oh, geez.
yeah.
But we were gonna the Bad White People Show was our original name for this podcast until we found out it was taken. So
Oh.
But based on your scales, your choices, I would say. Wait, is Margaritaville Jimmy Buffett
oh
related?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Yep.
Well, then I'm going to give it 4 margaritas.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. This is a 4 margarita movie. You sit down, you've got 2.5 hours. I recommend just mixing them all in advance, salting your rims, set them on the desk. Not the desk, the coffee. Go to your desk, go to your place of work.
Yeah.
Drink
God.
4 margaritas and watch Paris, Texas. You're gonna have a great time. Your boss isn't gonna have any questions.
You're going to finish the fourth one just as they finish the last monologue. You're going to feel so great. You're going to be ready to take on the world. So
I love the idea of seeing someone like walk, like cradling 4 margaritas and just being like, "Oh, they must be going to watch Paris, Texas."
Oh.
But we're getting the full breadth of vegetation. We're getting the full breadth of vacation here, right? The mood on vacation is not always Jimmy Buffett. Sometimes it's somber, it's quiet, it's frustrating, right? It's contemplative, and we'll have to see what the vibes are on our next episode, which I think is the one you're making me watch all 3 Hobbit films for. Right?
Oh wow! I had to. One of my friends in college made us go to, and this was back in Georgia, the midnight showings of all of those. Didn't know shit.
Midnight?
Didn't know
Oh
what
my
was
God.
going on. I would just wake up and Smaug was doing something. I truly, I didn't know shit.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's going to be a disaster. But that's, there's another journey for you. God, the midnight showings of all 3.
That is
Oh,
insane.
yeah.
Starting those at midnight.
I'm going to put a little bit on you, Jourdain, though, that like you saw how the second one, the first and the second one went. And then like, you know what? Give me some more the Battle of the 3 Armies. That sounds like it's going to be a really great capstone on the previous 6 hours of fun that I've had with these films. So it's a little on you as well, I feel, because those films, from what I recall, are not the best. But we'll see. We'll see.
Every midnight showing I went to in Georgia was like, I saw The Dark Knight Rises a midnight showing, and I just kept on falling asleep, and I would just basically wake up whenever Bane was talking. He would stop talking.
Oh, I want to see that cut of the film now. Just Bane.
Just Bane. Like, I haven't seen it. I've only seen it that one midnight screening. Like, one day I'm gonna watch The Dark Knight Rises again and figure out what actually happened. But all I remember is that like Bane would be talking, I'd be like, damn, it's like it's like there's a megaphone in his mask. He's vibrating through the whole place.
Oh.
Ugh. Well, Jourdain, thank you so much for joining us. You can find Jourdain at Judy Squirrels on Twitter or at JourdaineSearles.com. Jourdain, do you have anything you want to plug or let the listeners know about?
God, what will I be doing by the time this episode is out? I'll be writing something, I'm sure. You can, yeah, I'm on Instagram at Judy Squirrels also, so you can see like events, screenings that I'll be hosting. There will be something. Just look for Judy Squirrels and I'll be announcing something. It's always something. I'm always tired.
Awesome. Well, and we'll be sure to check in with you before the episode comes out to see if there's anything in particular you want us to highlight at the top of the show.
Yeah.
But thank you again, Jourdain. Thank you, Ethan, and thank you, listeners. You can find us on Twitter at YourTallPod. Same thing on basically every other social. I'm at Stale Cooper. Ethan's at Mathesippi. And as always,
keep circling that drain.